Have you ever thought that something as small as a phone charger could put hundreds of lives at risk while flying over the ocean? It was supposed to be a routine overnight flight from Brazil to Europe. Quiet, uneventful. But somewhere over the Atlantic, that calm was shattered by smoke, fire, and pure chaos. The KLM aircraft had departed from Sao Paulo, heading toward the Netherlands. Most passengers were asleep, unaware that their flight would soon turn into a terrifying memory. Everything seemed normal, until a sudden sound broke the silence. Moments later, thick smoke began to spread through the cabin. People started coughing, screaming. No one knew what was happening. Was it an engine fire, a short circuit, a terrorist attack? But the real cause was far more unexpected and terrifying in its simplicity. A portable phone charger, a basic power bank, had overheated and exploded inside a passenger's backpack. That small device, designed to keep phones alive, suddenly became a fire hazard thousands of feet in the air. Panic took over the cabin. Passengers began shouting, "Fire! Fire!" in both English and Portuguese. People jumped up in confusion. Others grabbed pillows to cover their faces, trying to avoid inhaling the choking smoke. The fear was real. For many, this felt like the beginning of a catastrophe. And while most of the cabin was frozen in shock, the flight attendants rushed into action. Armed with fire extinguishers and soaked towels, they moved quickly to locate the source of the fire and contain it. Despite the dense smoke, they managed to put it out mid-air before it turned into something much worse. One of the passengers, a journalist named Simone Malagoli, captured the scene on her phone. She later posted the footage on social media, and her words reflected the fear everyone felt. "I honestly thought I was going to die," she said. "There was so much smoke, such a horrible smell, and we didn't even know where the fire was coming from." The video quickly went viral, not just because of the footage, but because it raised a disturbing question. How safe are we really when we fly? After the incident, the airline KLM did not release an official statement. It's still unclear which brand or model of power bank caused the fire, or whether it was a certified product or a counterfeit one. What we do know is this: power banks, especially those with lithium-ion batteries, can be ticking time bombs if they overheat or malfunction. And with more and more passengers carrying these devices on flights, the risk only increases. A lot of people don't realize that you're not allowed to place these items in checked baggage. They're required to be carried in your hand luggage precisely because of the fire risk. But even in the cabin, these batteries can pose a serious threat, especially if they're low quality or damaged. And that's the part that should concern all of us. This wasn't an isolated event. Incidents involving lithium batteries have been happening more frequently around the world, some involving phones, laptops, even electric scooters. In many cases, it's the cheaper, uncertified versions that cause problems. They're mass-produced, poorly regulated, and often sold online at a discount. But saving a few dollars can cost lives. In this case, no one was injured. The fire was contained, and the flight continued to its destination. But for those on board, the trauma lingers. A normal night in the sky became a scene of panic in seconds, all because of a single, overlooked device. So next time you board a plane and slide your backpack under the seat, take a second to ask yourself, what's in there? Because the danger might be closer than you think. This wasn't the first time a lithium battery caused chaos at 30,000 feet, and unfortunately, it won't be the last. In recent years, airlines around the world have reported dozens of in-flight smoke events tied directly to personal electronics and power banks. In 2017, a Delta flight from New York to Houston was forced to make an emergency landing after a passenger's tablet caught fire mid-flight. Smoke filled the cabin, and flight attendants had to use halon extinguishers and place the device into a fire containment bag. A year earlier, a similar situation occurred on a JetBlue flight when a passenger's e-cigarette battery exploded in their pocket. While the fire was quickly put out, the smell of burning plastic lingered in the cabin, and several passengers were visibly shaken. And then there was the infamous case of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 in 2016. The phone had a well-documented defect that caused the battery to overheat and explode. Airlines around the world banned the device completely, and it became a global example of how dangerous these batteries can be, even when they come from a major manufacturer. Why lithium batteries can be so dangerous? At the heart of the problem is the chemistry behind lithium-ion batteries. These batteries are small, powerful, and incredibly efficient, which is why they're used in nearly every portable electronic device. But that same power comes with serious risks. Lithium-ion batteries store energy in chemical form. When damaged, overcharged, or poorly manufactured, they can go into a condition called thermal runaway. This means the battery overheats uncontrollably, triggering a chain reaction that causes the internal temperature to spike rapidly. Within seconds, the battery can swell, catch fire, or even explode. And once it ignites, it burns at extreme temperatures, often over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 537 degrees Celsius, and produces thick, toxic smoke. Even worse, water doesn't extinguish these types of fires. In fact, it can sometimes make things worse. That's why airline crews are trained to use specialized fire extinguishers and containment kits for these specific events. The scary part? Even a perfectly good battery can fail. All it takes is heat, pressure, or a short circuit. Something as simple as a power bank being crushed in a full backpack. How airlines handle fires at 35,000 feet. You might wonder, what actually happens when a fire breaks out mid-flight? Every major airline has a detailed protocol for in-flight fire emergencies, especially those caused by electronics. Cabin crews receive intensive safety training that includes identifying smoke sources, using fire extinguishers properly, and most importantly, staying calm under pressure. When smoke is detected, the first step is locating the source. If it's coming from a device, flight attendants are trained to act fast. They use halon extinguishers, which are designed to smother electrical and chemical fires. Then, if available, the device is placed in a fire containment bag, sometimes called a thermal runaway bag, which prevents the fire from spreading or reigniting. Pilots are also immediately alerted. If the situation escalates, they'll consider diverting the flight to the nearest airport, a decision that involves coordination with air traffic control, fuel considerations, and passenger safety. What's even more impressive is that despite the high stress and confined space, cabin crews have successfully extinguished nearly every lithium battery fire reported in flight over the last decade. It's a testament to how seriously airlines take these threats. But no matter how well trained the crew is, the danger remains, especially if passengers continue bringing unsafe or counterfeit devices on board. In the end, no one was physically hurt. The fire was contained, and the plane reached its destination. But what happened on that flight from Brazil to the Netherlands was more than just a scare. It was a powerful reminder of how something so ordinary can become dangerously unpredictable. A phone charger, a power bank, a device you probably carry every day without a second thought. That's all it took to turn a peaceful night flight into minutes of confusion, smoke, and panic. And the truth is, these devices are everywhere, tucked inside backpacks, stuffed in carry-ons, plugged in while we sleep at 35,000 feet. Airlines are prepared, crews are trained, but they can only do so much. The real responsibility starts with us, the passengers, choosing safe, certified products, understanding the risks, and being aware of what we bring on board.